Okay, let's just get right to it. You've been sold a lie. And honestly, not just any lie, but quite possibly the most insanely profitable lie in modern history. The idea that you, exactly as you are right now, are fundamentally not enough. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are completely tearing down the self-improvement trap. We're diving into the core concepts from Alex Harper's incredibly provocative book, The Lost Art of Being Good Enough. We're going to decode the wellness industry, expose this crazy thing called the permission paradox, and, best of all, figure out exactly how to reclaim your inherent adequacy through what Harper calls the Adequacy Revolution. Let's get into it. To really grasp the sheer scale of this lie, you gotta wrap your head around this number, $10.4 trillion. That's trillion with a T. That is the annual value of the global wellness industry. Think about that. Our collective feelings of insufficiency, that nagging voice saying we aren't mindful enough or productive enough or fit enough, well, those aren't just personal insecurities. No, they are the highly, highly profitable fuel for a massive economic engine. An engine that literally runs on the belief that you need to be fixed. But let's bring that astronomical number down to the individual level, $15,000. That is what the average American drops every single year on self-improvement products, services, and, lifestyle enhancements. Seriously, think about the graveyard of unused supplements in your pantry right now, or the unread self-help books gathering dust on your nightstand, or those forgotten meditation app subscriptions you're still paying for. We are just constantly buying things to fix what is supposedly broken inside of us. So here is absolutely crucial takeaway number one. If you feel like you keep trying all these programs and you just keep failing, actually, scratch that. You haven't failed at all. The system is literally designed to fail you. The self-improvement industrial complex runs on this brilliant, yet totally ruthless business model. They essentially create a wound and then turn around and sell you a really expensive auto-renewing bandage for it. Because think about it. A truly healed consumer? That's terrible for business. The perfect consumer is someone who deeply believes that healing is always just one more purchase away. Harper provides this brilliant guru translation guide in the book, and we just have to decode some of this marketing together. Take the word holistic. You hear it thrown around by influencers constantly, right? But what does it actually mean? Well, in industry translation, it basically means we've repackaged a bunch of separate services together so we can charge you a heck of a lot more for the bundle. Then there's my personal favorite, ancient wisdom. I mean, we see this plastered on literally everything from detox teas to expensive weekend retreats. But the reality check here, it frequently means that these practices have just been cherry-picked from other cultures, stripped entirely of their original ethical or religious context, and slickly rebranded for Western consumption. And oh man, you cannot forget the scientific veneer. When an influencer gets online and claims their new $200 supplement is science-backed, it often just means they found one preliminary study with maybe 12 participants, probably sleep-deprived college students, that vaguely supports their claims if you squint really, really hard. Real science embraces nuance and limitation, right? But marketing science promises absolute certainty. So the industry relies on a very specific 3-step playbook to keep this whole cycle going. Step 1, they identify a totally normal human variation, like, occasional distraction or just feeling tired, and they label it a deficit. Step 2, they use super emotionally charged language to amplify awareness of it, making you hyper-focus on this brand new problem. And step 3, boom, they sell you the ongoing solution. It literally transforms utterly ordinary human experiences into highly profitable problems. Now, this brings us to one of the biggest focus points of the book, what Harper calls the signal-to-noise problem. Social media algorithms are literally designed to maximize engagement by triggering our insecurities, right? Which creates this massive amount of psychological noise. So we have to learn to distinguish between authentic desires and acquired desires. Think of an authentic desire as wanting to stretch because your back aches. It arises from direct, personal experience and creates a real feeling of expansion. An acquired desire, on the other hand, that's buying a $100 yoga outfit because some influencer made you feel bad about your old sweatpants. That only serves your social image. The algorithms are constantly drowning out your authentic signal with their manufactured noise. To combat all this noise, the author introduces a pretty radical boundary. I love this, the anti-guru pledge. A true teacher, someone genuinely looking out for you, will tell you upfront, I will not position myself as your spiritual authority. I will respect your autonomy and your inherent wholeness. True wellness shouldn't rely on outsourcing your own internal authority to some self-appointed expert who claims to have all the answers. A genuine teacher respects your independence, rather than trying to make you dependent on their specific methodology. Building right on that pledge, Harper gives us a super practical bullshit detection starter kit. First, always watch out for the universal promise. That's the ridiculous idea that one specific diet or morning routine works for literally every single human body. Second, be super skeptical of the miracle timeframe. Look, sustainable life changes rarely happen in exactly 21 days, okay? Third, keep an eye out for the perfect transformation narrative that conveniently edits out all the messy human reality. And always, always look for the obscured economics, those hidden costs and sneaky auto-renewals designed to keep you paying indefinitely. Now, we hit this truly fascinating contradiction called the permission paradox. We have internalized external authority so deeply that we actually need an expert or a book or, hey, even an explainer like this one to tell us that it's finally okay to stop listening to experts and books. I mean, take a second to really think about that. We feel like we need external permission just to trust our own internal experience. It's wild. So how do we actually close this authority gap? We have to shift from an external locus of control back to an internal one. You can use something called the experience check, which is literally just taking a deep breath and asking what your body actually needs today, regardless of what some guru's 5 a.m. schedule dictates. You can also try keeping an authority journal to document the times you actually trusted your gut and it totally worked out. The whole goal here is to start trusting your own direct experience way more than marketed expectations. Which brings us to the real core of this whole explainer, the adequacy revolution. Look, we are all so used to optimization metrics, right? Counting our SAPs, obsessively tracking sleep scores, logging every minute of meditation. But true adequacy means shifting over to qualitative metrics. Things like, how present are you with your family? Do you actually trust your body? How deep are your relationships? We really have to stop reducing a wildly complex, well-lived life to just numbers on an app. To make this mental shift, we have to deconstruct a very old, deeply exhausting equation. The ingrained idea that your worth equals your achievements plus your attributes plus approval. If you are living your life by this equation, it is mathematically impossible to ever reach the feeling of enough, because there will literally always be more to achieve, better attributes to acquire, and more approval to seek out. It is a treadmill that never, ever stops. You simply cannot solve an inherent problem with an achievement solution. And the crazy part is, this optimization obsession has even infected how we rest. We've somehow created productive relaxation. We've gamified sleep to the point where getting a bad sleep score on our smartwatch actually stresses us out for the rest of the day. Or we force ourselves to read a book just so we can log it on a tracker. This just keeps our nervous systems quietly activated all the time, perpetually performing. The Adequacy Revolution advocates for something different: unapologetic rest. Rest as a fundamental, non-negotiable biological need that requires absolutely zero productivity justification. A huge part of this revolution is giving yourself total permission for abandonment without shame. If a wellness practice or a guru just isn't serving you anymore, drop them. Reframe quitting as an active, empowering choice. Acknowledge what you learned from it, even if the only thing you learned is what definitely doesn't work for you. And honor those sunk costs. Recognize that the money you spend on that grueling 6-week boot camp is already gone, and forcing yourself to suffer through the rest of it won't magically bring that cash back. Just move on without an ounce of guilt. So instead of desperately chasing perfect optimization, try implementing the good enough method. First, find your personal sufficiency threshold. Maybe for you, that's a nice 20-minute walk around the neighborhood instead of a brutal CrossFit session. Prioritize gentle consistency over extreme intensity. And warmly accept the curve of diminishing returns, realizing that chasing that last 5% of perfection usually costs you 90% of your energy and joy. That shouldn't feel like a failure. That should feel like a massive, deep breath of relief. Ultimately, this is all about physically and mentally embodying the adequacy stance every single day. It means catching yourself when you tense up and brace for valuation, and instead just physically grounding yourself in a posture of relaxed dignity. It's about using language that actually appreciates your genuine accomplishments, rather than constantly obsessing over the gap between where you are and where you quote-unquote should be. It's adopting frameworks that recognize you are already complete, allowing your personal growth to be a natural, emergent process rather than some frantic, engineered fix. I want to leave you today with this single lingering thought. In an economy that depends entirely on your constant sense of insufficiency, recognizing your own inherent worth is a profoundly rebellious act. So ask yourself, what if the problem wasn't your routine or your discipline or your body? What if the answer isn't another tracking system or another self-proclaimed guru? What if you were already enough? Keep that question with you today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.